Hey guys, it's me again, just checking in with you. And I know it's been a while since I've done a video, so hey, welcome to 2016. I'm on top of it again. But I just wanted to take a second to walk you through what we're doing for this Sunday for those of you who are auditory people, so that it's easier for you to remember than reading through this entire sheet will be. I've gone ahead and attached the sheet for Sunday to the email along with this video, but I'm just going to walk you through how it's going since we've got kind of a new setup for this semester so that you can hear from me how it's going to go and visualize that along with me. So again, this Sunday, like we said, for the kids, we're going to be doing the Courageous series for this semester. So we're starting it off this semester or this week with Courageous Community, the stories from Acts 2 and Acts 4, where it talks about the disciples sharing everything they have with one another and having one heart and one mind, that kind of thing. So after dinner, we're going to do a group builder as we've been doing in the past. This week is going to be the amoeba race. So what we're going to do is split you up into your groups, and then weather permitting, hopefully it will be near 60 out that day. If there's no rain, we'll take them outside, and what we'll have your kids do is get together, have them get into an amoeba, not a circle, not like this, have them just all together in a great big knot, shoulder to shoulder, and then they need to lock arms with each other, elbow to elbow. So you'll have an entire group of kids all holding together, elbow to elbow. If you have a larger group of kids, you might have a clump inside and a clump kind of around them, but the main thing is that they're all locked tightly together with one another into an amoeba and not kind of loosely shaped like a circle. Once they are in that shape, what we're going to do with the groups is have them go through an obstacle course or it's really just a course with cones set up outside. The first round, we're going to encourage them just to make it through without anyone losing their grip and unlinking or anyone tripping and falling, because the point of the night obviously is working together. So don't encourage your groups to race or to be fast or those kind of things, because then they'll just run and they will trip each other up or they'll lose their teamwork. So make sure you just encourage them first time around to do it together as a team as best they can. If we have time, we'll do a second round where we'll just see, do they think they can do it better? Do they think they can, beat themselves? Or do they find a more efficient way after watching other groups? We'll let them go for a second round. If we're doing really good on time, we'll ask the group to get together as one big amoeba and see if all 40 or 50 of them can make it around the course and back without losing anyone in the process. So it should be kind of fun, just a fun way for them to laugh and be awkward together as they figure out how to get around. When they get back, we'll have you go back to your small groups and do some recap time. The questions I have for you are to ask them is what makes it easy or hard for us to work together and why. Obviously, all these questions relate, to the game and helps them relate to real life. And the second is what might that activity show us about working together in our faith? After you've kind of transitioned through those questions, go ahead and review their homework. Luckily for us this week, it makes it real nice and concise. Their homework was about community and discipleship as well. So they learned about what it means to be a disciple and a follower of Jesus, and we talked about the importance of doing our faith together and having one another with us. Please make sure you go over their assignments with them. That's something I'd like you to do, but also several of our kids said that they wished that you were talking more with them about their work and their learning. So even if your kids are rolling their eyes or acting like they don't like it, please go over that with them. That is a critical part of what they're learning. And as I found on some of their homework assignments, they do want to go further or they have questions, and that's a great time for us to process that. So go over their assignment. Of course, to know what the assignment is, I'm going to need you to go online to the csmjuniorhigh.com yourself. Go to the weekly work tab and then drop down to weekly assignments and go ahead and read through the discipleship big idea and then the assignment so that you're familiar. If you can make time for it, they can make time for it. It's about a 10-minute read and assignment. It's not very hard this week, so please go check that out. When you're finished in your big group recap time, we're going to go upstairs, and this is where we're going to shift a little bit. We're going to go ahead and stay with the announcements and introduction kind of thing that we do when they get up there with their Bibles and their journals and everything. I don't have anyone signed up to do a sharing time this week, but Ben and Natalie, Rachel, and Holly, I didn't hear back from any of you. So if any of you want to share this week something from your life that has to do with community and sharing Jesus in community, let me know and you guys can share. If not, we will not have any leaders sharing this week. So I'll just jump right into our topic and our lessons. I'm also, don't forget, going to be going over in the introductory time our new rules without the cell phones, that kind of thing. So we'll just kind of have to get the kids all back on board. Once we've dumped this is where it's going to shift. Last semester I did a little bit more of heavy teaching and then we did reflection. I'm going to try something a little different this time by having the kids take on the devotional reflection time themselves, almost like a personal devotional. So what we'll do is I'll give the kids their handout with the questions, or put it up on the screen of what their reflection questions are and what their reading is, and we'll have them kind of spread out, open up their Bibles and do the readings of the scriptures that we're using. And then we'll have them answer the 3 or 4 reflection questions. That's the format we'll use every week. So they'll have a reading, a passage or a story that they'll get, and then there'll be some reflection questions for them to answer. That period will be a set amount of time, so it allows them, the slower ones to work at a pace or the faster ones to work at a pace. They'll all finish at the same time. When we're done and we end the reading and reflection, we'll lead the hands-on response. This week, due to the chapters being about sharing and having community with one another, I've asked parents for an email, and then I put on the kids' weekly assignment that this week they bring an object, a small object, about, it's got to fit inside their hand, that will stand for them or stand in for them. It doesn't have to necessarily be representative, just needs to be something that they know that they brought. For instance, I could bring this little mitten ornament from my Christmas ficus tree. Or a little dinosaur, beanie baby, or anything. I asked them to bring that because for our response time, I'm going to lead them into bringing those items to a great big jar that we have and placing them in, because one of the verses in Acts talks about how none of them said, well, this is mine. They learned to share everything and had unity among them. So symbolically, I'm going to ask the kids to think about what it is that they bring, what it is that they share, and have them put it in the jar so that we have a jar full of unique objects that stand for our kids and their community and unity among each other. So that'll be the response time. When it's finished, we'll have them break away into groups with you guys again. This will be a lot more simple for this semester as far as your reflection goes, because the first thing you'll get to do this week and every week will be to go over the reflection questions. So those 3 or 4 questions that your kids were going over in their quiet time by themselves, that's what you'll be reviewing with them. So that gives you a common amount of subjects to talk about, and hopefully, because they should be writing them down in their journal, you should get a lot more discussion. Secondly, after you've gone over the reflection questions for this Sunday, ask about that object that they put into the jar, and ask them about what it symbolized for them, or what they saw themselves putting in or sharing with the community of our youth group. Lastly, what we're going to do is take communion together. This is pretty fun. The college kids, or Rachel and Scott anyways, have done this. Basically, I'll give you communion elements, and we have the liturgy that we use here at Central to give communion, and I'll walk you through that on Sunday when you get here, but it's really simple. You'll have a sheet of paper with your this normal sheet on your clipboard, and it just has the liturgy, what you need to say, and how the kids are going to respond with you. It's real simple. I've just done it with our groups in the past. I'll give you the elements, and you as a leader kind of pastor your own little group. So you'll hand out the bread and the drink, and you'll go through the liturgy with them and have them take communion together. So that should be pretty exciting. Just use that as an opportunity to talk to your kids about communion, about community, having union with God and with one another, and how that impacts our discipleship. So use that as a moment, kind of symbolic, to help your group feel united in spirit and in chasing after Jesus this year. Lastly, just have them pray together. Don't skip past that. I know it can be hard sometimes with junior hires to get them to pray. I found, again, the best way is to come up with a way ahead of time instead of just asking off the cuff. So be creative, whether you ask them to pray in pairs or you have a specific prayer thing you want them to ask about. Come up with a creative way. You might have to Google some to find answers, or you could ask me. And have your group pray for one another, because prayer is powerful, it's important, and especially after talking about community, all the more so. So that's it for this week. Once you're done, you break up, you're good to go. So hopefully that answers all your questions. If there's anything I've left out, or you need to know anything about this Sunday, feel free to shoot me an email. Otherwise, I'll see you then. Thanks, guys.